Morning, all. All right, so happy Sunday and all that, and there's some kind of a ball throwing game going on later today or something. That's why all the games are early. But there's some news of the day I want to report to you, fine people, in between the second and third period between the Capitals and the Flyers. And if you're not watching that game, it's very entertaining. Not very defensively sound, but very entertaining. So Wayne Simmonds could be out for 6 weeks for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's going to be problematic. It won't. They don't really have anybody who provides what he does in their lineup. He's been a perfect fit. So it's a matter of finding somebody to step into his shoes for a 6 week period and just shuffle things around a little bit. And they should be okay because even without Simmonds, the Leafs are still good enough to be top four in the North. So we'll see what happens, but it looks like Simmonds could be out for 6 weeks, according to Elliot Friedman. The Columbus Blue Jackets, who had massive issues with injury last year, their goaltending was part of it, where Korpisalo looked good, got hurt. Elvis looked good, got hurt. And so Kivlenieks ended up in the net. Well, what's happened this week is that Merzlikins ends up hurting himself in practice, so Kivlenieks is the guy that's next in line. Now he's hurt, so they've had to use their emergency recall to call up Cam Johnson, who had, I guess, a 6-1 record in the ECHL last year. So yeah, for Columbus, they're getting into midseason form with the injuries. So we'll see if that's the end of it or if there's more to come. Last night, this was reported on Hockey Night in Canada that Derek Stepan of the Ottawa Senators, recently of the Ottawa Senators, really doesn't want to be playing in Canada. His family's in the U.S., and of course, with the border being closed and quarantine rules being as there, he can't see his family. So Stepan would like to have a move from Ottawa to another American team. Now, the tricky thing is there aren't very many teams that have a lot of cap space and would be looking to bring in Stepan. The other part being he's been a healthy scratch for Ottawa at times. I think he's been a healthy scratch once or twice, and he's been playing up and down the lineup. He hasn't looked all that comfortable, but that could be part of it, right? Part of it could be that he feels out of sorts because he can't see his family during the regular season. So he's looking for a trade. We'll see whether or not Ottawa is able to make that happen. Ryan Miller, with 388 wins now. He is 1 win behind Dominik Hasek. He is 13 wins behind Osgood. So I'm going to go ahead and say he should be able to pass Hasek before the season's out. I don't think he's going to catch Osgood before his career is likely done at the end of this season. I can't see him winning another 13 games. Unless Gibson were to be out for an extended period. But even then, I don't know. I don't see Miller reaching 400 wins, but he'll be close. And so then we can have the debate about whether or not he should be in the Hall of Fame or not or whatever. But passing Hasek will be pretty major if/when he gets that done. Ovechkin today has made me update this board twice. Ovechkin with 2 goals today now sits at 711. So here's the all-time chart. Gretzky 894, so that puts him 183 behind Gretzky. It's tough to get there. I think it's possible, but it's going to be tough for him to get there. Gordie Howe 801, that's reachable. Yager 766, Brett Hull 741, Dion 731, and Esposito at 717. Now, I know there are those who, we're tired of hearing about Ovechkin and all. Every time he scores a goal, we hear about him climbing the chart. There's a reason that it's exciting. It's because he may be the last guy who's able to do this, at least for the next, I'll say, 10 years. Patrick Marleau is next on the active list of goal scorers at 562. I'll go out on a limb and say he's not going to score 150 goals before his career's done. Crosby, 466. His best goal-scoring days may very well be behind him as well. Eric Stahl, 439, and Stamkos with 426. So there isn't really anybody on this board that you can look at and say, well, yeah, he'll probably end up hitting 750 or so. I mean, what Ovechkin's doing right now is truly insane when you consider that he came in during the dead puck era, and goals are harder to come by now than they were during the Gretzky era. And I'm not going to get into the whole comparing eras from one to the other, but it is. If Ovechkin had played in the 80s, he would have had more goals. So We'll see where he ends up by the end of this season. I do think that it's another 30 goals. He can catch Brett Hull. So by the end of this year, he could be number 4 on the chart. So, and then we'll see next year what he's able to do to go further. And as he gets closer and closer to that all-time record, the updates will probably be every game. Every time he gets a goal, it'll be another update on he's only this many goals off. Interesting news out of Winnipeg. So their lines at practice, right? And keeping an eye on things because Pierre-Luc Dubois took the ice for the first time with Winnipeg. I like what they did with the lines for this. If this is going to be their lines starting on Tuesday, they could have 3 scoring lines. So they have Kopp, Scheifele, and Ehlers as the first line. Thank you. Thank you for giving Andrew Kopp and Nick Ehlers the ice time to prove that these guys are legit top 6 forwards in the NHL. Second line, Connor, Dubois, and Lewis. Now, I'm a little bit surprised to see Trevor Lewis there, but he's a hard worker and he does have cup rings. And then the third line's Vesalainen, Stastny, and Wheeler. Stastny's scoring has dropped off again. This is where it gets interesting. So Paul Maurice defended Wheeler, and I have no reason to think that he wasn't honest about it. But I also think that looking at this lineup and seeing how other guys are playing, he also recognized that changes needed to be made. So I don't think this is a sign he didn't mean what he said when he defended Wheeler. It's just, hey, it's my lineup. And, you know, if a guy's playing well, he plays on the top line. He gets more ice time at the very least. And if he's not, then he won't. And so Wheeler drops down to the third line. On the fourth line, you've got Perreault, Lowry, and Appleton. That is a fantastic 4-line rotation they have there. Like I said, that potentially means 3 scoring lines. And then the fourth line, we'll see. And then I would think that on the first power play unit, Wheeler would get time there, or even on the second. You can put together 2 very good power play units. Winnipeg's going to be a team that's able to score this year. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Speaking of problems, however, Robert Thomas, if you're a Blues fan, he's going to be out for a while. 4 to 6 weeks for Robert Thomas. Broken thumb and all that, and a hand injury for Simmonds. Apparently they're going around. It's that time of year. But we'll see how St. Louis does without Thomas. This is where it's important that Kyrou has broken through and Kyrou's become a sort of a scoring star for St. Louis. And yeah, so we'll see how the Blues do without Thomas, as the injury bug is going to be pretty prominent this year. If you look at the schedules of teams in the East with the rescheduling that was done yesterday, there are a lot of teams that do not have more than a day off for a period of a month or longer, where you're playing every other day. This is why I said last night about practice. Teams are kind of used to having those, you have a 2-day in between, 3-day in between here and there. And you can kind of start working on some stuff with players and working on changing some of the things they might be doing wrong. With this condensed schedule, momentum plays a large role in this, where a team that's just on a roll can keep that going, and for a team that's reeling, it can be tough to actually have that time to sit them down and go, okay, look, this is what we need to work on. This is because you're always saying, okay, tomorrow we're playing these guys. Tomorrow, okay, now we have 3 and 4 coming up, so here, come on, guys. They don't have that chance, so we're going to see more injuries out of that as well, because that's the nature of it. But hey, I'm here to report on it if/when it happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.